That is fiber. This is label.
Yeah.
You hear anything?
All right, heads up.
Cool. All right, man, that's good. Thanks.
Yikes. We should do this at 11:30, not at 2:30 anymore.
Yes. Seconded, be our guest.
Yikes. Okay, well, thank you all for coming. Good morning, and I thank you for rearranging your schedules. Unfortunately, I'm not able to do the stakeout today. I'll be at the rally, but I still wanted to have the opportunity to chat with all of you. So a lot's happening here on Capitol Hill, but I wanted to take a moment to chat about a topic that I've been passionate about, and I think the Senate is passionate about for years, and that is fighting the scourge of fentanyl. As you know, I led a CODEL to China last month and met directly with President Xi, similar to President Biden's meeting tomorrow. The topic that probably took more time than any other, and he spent 85 minutes with us, which was sort of unprecedented, was fentanyl. And we made a plea to President Xi to stop the precursor drugs. We made a plea to President Xi to stop the precursor chemicals that Chinese companies export to Mexico, and there the gangs, the drug gangs, make them into fentanyl and send them into America. And I told President Xi there could be tremendous, it is reported, he's very worried about the negative opinion of China in the United States. And I told him nothing could help raise China's image a little bit in the United States, anything more than stopping the flow of fentanyl. That would be the thing that could most benefit China's image here in the United States, which needs repairing, because fentanyl is a scourge. It kills tens of thousands of our kids all the time, and he has the power to stop it. I even said to him, my father's a small businessman. He studied this. He said, your father helped us against the fascists, because my father flew over the Himalaya mountains in World War II. But I said, my father's a little small businessman, but he would know a good deal when he sees it. The harm to your economy with stopping these precursor drugs would be minimal compared to the benefit to the United States and the world. Well, I believe we made real progress with President Xi on this issue, and I'm very optimistic that good news will come from tomorrow's meeting between President Xi and President Biden on the issue of fentanyl. And if China stopped the flow, it could put I can't think of anything that would do more to stop fentanyl from coming into the United States than China stopping the flow of these precursor drugs, which incidentally are illegal in China, but they don't do anything to stop them. We also talked with Xi about reciprocity, that China treats American companies in China unfairly, whereas the United States has far more open attitude towards Chinese companies being here in America, and I know that will be part of the conversation as well. On Senator Tuberville, later this afternoon, I will be going over to the Rules Committee as they mark up the resolution allowing the Senate to finally confirm the military promotions currently being blocked by Senator Tuberville. For 9 months, Senator Tuberville has single-handedly prevented the swift bipartisan confirmation of hundreds of generals and flag officers and put our military more in jeopardy with each passing day. As a result of Senator Tuberville's holds, America's national security is paying a price. Our military readiness is paying a price at the time when we need military readiness more than ever. And these I don't know if we have any water here, and the spouses and children of these people who have served their country for decades is being held in complete turmoil and jeopardy because of Senator Tuberville's stubbornness. Well, as you can see now, patience is wearing thin with Senator Tuberville on both sides of the aisle. I strongly support this resolution to overcome these military holds, and if it is reported out of committee today, which I believe it will, if our Republican colleagues cannot convince Senator Tuberville to drop his holds, I will bring it to the floor as soon as possible for a vote. On government funding. Cheers. Salute. Schlanze. L'chaim. I don't know too many others. I know a few more. Gendan. Who knows that one? Who's Italian? That means you'll live to 100 years. And in English, water is good. Now, on government funding. When it comes to government funding, as I have long said, it has to be bipartisan. And right now, that's the path we seem to be on. I'm heartened, very cautiously so, that Speaker Johnson is moving forward with a CR that precisely omits the sort of hard right cuts that would have been non-starters for Democrats. I certainly don't agree with everything he's proposing, and I can't imagine too many senators would have taken the Speaker's approach in drafting this bill on either the Democratic or Republican sides here in the Senate. But the fact that he has, but the proposal before the House does two things Democrats pushed for, and I talked to him about on the phone ahead of time. One, not making the hard right cuts that the MAGA wing demands, and second, making sure that if they're going to do this sort of goofy ladder, that defense is in the second part of the ladder, not the first. So we'll see over the course of how the House moves today, whether it comes forward. When it comes here, if the House should pass it, and I hope they do, Senate Leader McConnell and I will figure out the best way to get this done quickly. Neither McConnell nor I want to shut down. Questions? Yes.
So you just mentioned a lot of the initiatives with regards to China and President Biden's meeting with Xi tomorrow. Just your thoughts on where on the priority list do just holding China accountable for human rights fall? Because that wasn't mentioned in your statement yesterday or here today.
Well, we brought that up when we brought up the Uyghur situation and other human rights situations with China. And look, we're not going to get everything. The president's not going to get everything done. If he makes some progress on some key issues and the relationship is beginning to be repaired, because despite the fact that I've been a China hawk for decades, we have to, we have to try to get as good relations as China as possible, but still make it clear to them that we have real differences as to how they're treating their people, but also our companies and our people. Yes, next.
Following up on that question, another topic of conversation, I was wondering if you or if you're hopeful President Biden speaks to Chinese officials about what China can do to reduce emissions and contribute to
Again,
the climate crisis, especially in advance of the COP.
We brought that up, and as I understand it, that's an area where discussions so far, and this is according to the ambassador, Mr. Burns, we're beginning to make some real progress on that.
Leader Schumer,
Yes.
Leader Schumer, why is it important for you to show solidarity with Israel and go to the rally state? And also, what are your thoughts on some of your colleagues from New York, like Representative Ocasio-Cortez and Mr. Bowman, calling for a ceasefire?
Look, I am for three policies. I think we ought to be pursuing three policies. One, to radically reduce the presence of Hamas. They are a real threat. Two, to free the hostages. And three, to minimize civilian casualties.
As you're signaling support for this CR in the House, the White House over the weekend called it a recipe for more Republican chaos and more shutdowns. They called this unserious. Do you agree with them?
Look, I think that we all want to avoid a shutdown. I've talked to the White House, and both of us agree, the White House, myself, that if this can avoid a shutdown, it'll be a good thing. Yes.
Senator, in the past, you said you would welcome taking a closer look at TikTok.
Say that again?
In the past, you've talked about welcoming taking a closer look at TikTok ban regulations. Since the start of the war, Republicans have started calling for TikTok bans again, given the fact they believe that Hamas is spreading propaganda online. Does this provide any further urgency to act?
Well, recently I talked to Senator Warner about this, who's been working with the Republicans, and he's going to get back to me with some recommendations. Yes.
What is the soonest that the Senate would put the House CR up for a vote if it is approved this afternoon in the House?
We would like to do it as soon as possible. Both McConnell and I want to avoid a shutdown, so getting this done, obviously, before Friday midnight. And you know the Senate has lots of arcane rules, but McConnell and I are going to work together. We talked about this yesterday to get it done as quickly as possible. Yes?
How concerned are you that we may end up with no
Okay, well, look, I want to see very strongly all four requests of the president be approved: Ukraine, Israel, humanitarian, and Indo-Pacific. And we're going to work very hard to get that done. Right now, as you know, one of the holdups is that Leader McConnell has said that we have to have some kind of border security. We have Democrats and Republicans working together to try and come up with a border security package that will have bipartisan support. But we have to get this done, and as soon as we come back in Thanksgiving, it will be a very high priority. Get all four of them done. All four have bipartisan support in the House together.
Well,
Go
you
ahead.
sort of got me there. I mean, the idea of doing these all holistically. Speaker Johnson this morning made the point that they have at least passed something on Israel, sort of daring the Senate to act.
Yeah, look, we all know that Speaker Johnson's proposal was not a serious proposal. The president already said he'd veto it. We need bipartisan support for all four, and I'm going to work strenuously, very hard, to get all four done. Yes.
To what extent have you talked to Republicans about the standing order resolution regarding Tuberville, and how confident are you that you'll get 9 Republican votes for it?
Look, as I said, Republican, as you can tell by